What year is this?
Hi everyone, my name is Paul Carocchio. I am the president of the Manchester Business Association. Thanks for coming. And I assume most of you are business owners in our community or community members with an interest in what's going on in the business. If you're otherwise, and there's some press here, of course. Oh, there's Greg, right there. Surprise. So, and at that point, you're on TV with GNAT, so whatever you say is public, for real. Thank you for coming. We're here to give you an update on our progress over the winter months and through the summer. We've had a very productive time, but we haven't really been out in the public to say what we've done. Most of our efforts through the winter and early spring were making sure that we had a stable foundation to build on to announce to the town of Manchester that we're worthy of supporting through an economic initiative. And we were able to do that if you were at the town meeting in March, I stood up there and pleaded for $50K and we got it. And so since then we've worked hard to figure out how we're going to grow on that and really formalize our efforts and also develop a really good working relationship with our community and the Bennington Chamber. So what we're here today to talk to you about is I've got a slide deck that we as a board have put together using some data results, basically reporting on what I would say is our last full year of existence, which is our first real full year. And then also we want to talk about our membership program, which is a membership drive to fund the economics of our marketing program as well as the visitor center, and show you what we want to give back to the community and information for your economic commitment and hopefully some volunteer commitment. And then finally, we, of course, would like to do a Q&A of the community and find out, get some more input of anything that we could do better or could add to our efforts in terms of marketing, data analysis, and so on. So our board is currently, we have a 9-member board with our 10th member is Pauline Moore, who is a non-voting representative of the town. Pauline, you're here somewhere in the back. Pauline has been instrumental in helping us get the data that we need from business owners and from the state of Vermont, particularly the Department of Taxes, which if you've dealt with them is, I don't even want to comment on that on TV. So some of this is repeat for a lot of you, but I just want to make sure you know who we are and that if you're all interested, you can be a part of this through a membership with us. And we are a destination marketing organization focused on the Manchester community and its business. We're a nonprofit 501c6. We have filed our first tax return, and we actually lost a member of our board, Carolyn Blitz, who resigned for the purpose of not having a conflict of interest because her business is now providing a service for us. So we'd like to find at least one more board member this fall, and also maybe cycle out some of our board members. Not that they're bad people, just...
I'm leaving today.
Yeah, John's out, I'm out now. Our vision is, like I said, promote and market the town of Manchester, its businesses, and everyone I'm sure in this room can read, so I'm not going to go through that. But our main focus point is increase the number of visitors to our town because that means they open up their wallets and spend money with all of us. And maybe someday they buy a home and put their kids in our schools. I'm not sure why it's, there we go. Again, add visitors, increase hotel occupancy, provide metrics based on that information. There are a lot of other things that surround those metrics, but we felt those three are important. We've also now been able to report on real estate sales. We've really dug in to the option tax and broken out its pieces of the puzzle. For example, sales and use tax, retail tax, what's taxed in retail, what's not taxed in retail, the internet sales that come to our town and how much that's taxed. So we've done a lot of work in the last year and we can talk to a lot of those points, which have been mysteries for all of us. So last year, just kind of give you a scope of what we did. Oops. Oop. Trying to make this right. I guess it's a good size up there, right? Oh, yeah. So again, a lot of you have seen this. We formed a board, formed our entity, raised funds last year. Put a marketing plan in place, met with Vermont Tourism, merged the old chamber site with us, opened the visitor center, held 3 public forums, developed our marketing plan for this year, and in November we provided metrics to all of you on what we learned last year, and then we embarked on our fundraising for the future. And just so you know, we meet probably every other week, at this point as a board, and we have provided the town, Pauline and John O'Keefe have all access to all of our documents, financials, board meeting minutes, as part of our agreement with the town. As town members, if you're residents, you have access to all of that information too at the town hall, if you'd like. We'll probably get to a point where we'll just post it to members somewhere on our website soon. So this year, first quarter, raised $50K from the town, raised immediately another $30K from donors, including our board, and then continued our marketing program. Second quarter, we acquired all of the website and digital assets that we were, quote, renting last year. And we negotiated, just finalized it yesterday, a memorandum of understanding with the Bennington Chamber, which, if you read the news article last week, in Greg's article, where'd Greg go? Oh, he's in the back. Greg wrote a great article about how we have negotiated with the Bennington Chamber to merge our efforts in this market, so that the Chamber was, in their 2020 plan, was to come to Manchester with a visitor center node. And we said, well, we'll do that because we're the Manchester Business Association. We'd like to represent our community. And in turn, we'll roll out a membership program where our community businesses can join the MBA, and part of that membership will be an automatic membership into the Bennington Chamber. So we're going to roll that out later in the slideshow today. So we negotiated a rate. Basically, a $600 membership in the Bennington Chamber is now $150 for a Manchester business. With all the same benefits. And in turn, the MBA uses those funds that we provide the Bennington Chamber to staff the visitor center here. So it's kind of it's a win-win for both organizations. They save the time and effort to put a node in Manchester. We get to focus on Manchester, and we get to raise money for all of our businesses to have a person in the visitor center here. Confusing? Third quarter, our plan is to roll out our membership program. That's why we're here today. And then in September, maybe October, have our first formal members meeting where we vote on our bylaws and we vote on our board. And then finally, continue to provide metrics. So those are our general ideas of what we're trying to do. I've spoken to many of these already, and in the past, just to reinforce what we're trying to do. And we're not a chamber. We're not giving businesses support of how to run their staff, HR, do accounting. We are a marketing organization. We want to market the Manchester brand, and that's where all the monies come in and what they go out to. So we want to continue to reinforce the Manchester message, drive traffic to the website, nurture engagement through our social and email, and then all of the digital components, social media, and targeted emails, which we've been doing. And I think the results will show you that our efforts combined with all your efforts and what seems to be an improving economy are keeping Manchester ahead. We'll show you that in a little bit. This is a slide, and I paused because I think everybody should read it instead of me speaking to it. We need to know if this is the right message from everyone. It's what we came up with as a board. We continue to think is the right message. Are we missing anything? Any comments?
Education could play a part in that somewhere.
Great idea. Education. Hey, Joy.
Yes, write that down.
Would you mind taking notes, actually?
No problem. I got it. You got it, John?
Joy's our secretary today.
No, I can't.
Joy is one of the best secretaries in any board I've been on. The minutes come right back, and they're very good minutes, not elaborate, concise.
You mentioned the Bennington Chamber.
Yes,
When does that kick in? Because as of now, I'm paying
yes.
a lot more than 100.
So we'll answer that at the end. I'll answer that right now, but let's keep the chamber questions so it doesn't go into the chamber mode. Anybody that has a current chamber membership will be, I think the agreement says enjoy, yeah, it'll be prorated into the MBA membership. So like I've joined, it's $600, and I've also am going to do the MBA thing. So we'll have to do some accounting so that you're not paying more to be in both today. So I think the renewal of the chamber, and can we answer that? Do we know the year of the chamber?
I don't know, but
The fiscal years overlap in a very different way, which is why it's a little bit of a
Yeah,
kind of
right.
touch and go thing that we're trying to work through right now, but
And Brian Maggiotti is on the chamber board, so thanks for sticking up, saying it. Yes?
Yeah, I have a question. I think it's wonderful, manchestervermont.com. Great, okay? But if I'm living in East Oshkosh, Asia, okay, I don't necessarily know that destination, manchestervermont.com. I know maybe I might know vermont.com.
Right.
How can we address that?
So this is more of the magical work of the digital world. In the SEO, search engine optimization, and all of this digital campaign work through our marketing committee, along with Mountain Media and along with Burlington Bites, who are all experts, not me, utilize things like all the things we just showed on the last page, the golfing, skiing, Vermont, even competing towns as search phrases to direct traffic to our site. So they're not necessarily searching Manchester, Vermont, but they end up there because they've searched something else that's maybe a more general. And that's a pretty common thing through the web. And then as we get into social and email, we just do impressions to the general public and sponsor those ads, and hopefully people see that and then funnel it in to our world. It's not a perfect science, but we're kind of using the same tactics that any business would use to attract people to our brand. That help? Yeah. Any other questions on this slide? No. Okay. Oh, yes.
I don't see
Farming.
farming on here.
Farming. Good idea. That's a great idea. Yeah, thank you. Farm to table. Good words, yeah.
Or in Italy, they call it agricultura, agricultural tourism.
Yep, that's a good idea. Something, those are great suggestions. Education and farming, of course. Yep, great. Anything else? We put the pictures in just as filler, but they're beautiful, aren't they? So we're measuring, we'll probably, as we go forward, pick each public forum to focus on something, set of metrics. We can't get to all of them. Like, for example, digital marketing measurements is probably 1 hour session to talk about, and it's not today. We did it at the last one, where we showed traffic to the website, conversion rates, click-through rates to your businesses. A lot of businesses reported that they're getting more traffic from this site than they are from the Vermont tourism site, the state tourism site, and Vermont.com. So we will pick another public forum because we're going to do one per quarter. Today is not for digital, more focused on the membership idea, but we'll give you some metrics on the tax revenue just because we've been focusing on that. But so you know, we are tracking that information, and we do have reporting back from Mountain Media and I think more precisely Burlington Bites on some of that. Again, same thing, except we want to make a point. How do you get involved in getting the benefit of the digital space, the traffic? Register your business on the site, become a member. We have a bunch of registration forms that you can fill out, and we're soon going to have a page on the website that you can fill out to become a member. And then you can add your events as a Manchester area business to the event calendar. So go to the website, check that out, or email info@manchestervermont.com, just to give you kind of the quick and easy ways to get to us. So I don't know if we haven't talked about all the events going on in Manchester, but we tried to put as many as we could think of that have occurred. We're not an event organizer, we're an event marketer. So if something's going on in the community in Manchester, we're going to try and market it, and hopefully you will too if it's your event. This is just a lot of the stuff that's happening here, sort of in a trailing 6 to 12 months and a look forward of 12 months. A lot of things reoccurring that are really great. We've heard a lot of great things about this Bluegrass Festival coming up next week. The ITV Fest was a success. A lot of people, productions going on in town now that that's been here and continuing to be here. If anybody's been to Cars and Donuts at the Riley Rink, it's pretty awesome. Keeps growing. What's so amazing about this list is how many communities around Vermont can fill up a page, and we could probably fill up 3 pages of what's really going on. So the idea that nothing's going on in town is kind of a bunch of BS when someone says that. I have 2 little kids, and I could fill this page with things for kids to do too. Camps, Stacy Gates is doing an art camp this week at her shop. It's just a lot of great stuff. So if we're missing anything, let us know.
Paul,
Yes?
instead of feverishly writing all this down or snapshotting it, would you be able to?
Yeah, this is public record now.
But where do we, other than the town
So-
hall?
so-
can we just tap in somewhere and get it, or can we distribute it, or no?
No, we can.
Town hall.
No. It's probably easiest if we distribute or make access to it. Has everyone, let me just ask a raise of hands. Did everyone get our email from Monday? Was it Monday, Meredith, that we sent out? Anybody not get it? Okay.
I saw it on Facebook.
Okay, so Facebook too, yeah. We're trying not to mail stuff to people, even though we have everybody's mailing address. If you didn't get it, make sure we have your email on these sheets before you leave.
There's something being passed around right now, like a sign-in sheet
Yeah.
that has your email, and that'll also go to our database so that we can make sure you're well informed going forward.
Yeah, we should have everybody's for sure. Metrics. Here's today, we focused in the last few forums on lodging sector, option tax increases, what we're looking at for goals. Increases in lodging sector occupancy, option tax increased traffic at the visitor center, website traffic, real estate sales price increases, and we'd like to know what everybody's thinking and feeling. A little bit of a subjective bullet, but it's always nice. One thing that I should focus on that a little bit. The subjective bullet of sentiment sometimes isn't the truth, because what people feel is going on isn't necessarily actually what's going on. And we found ourselves as an organization sort of threading that needle of, oh, we heard this, let's go see if that's true. Oh, it's not true. How do we go back and tell so-and-so that the facts don't prove that out? How did you hear that, or how do you feel that? So that's kind of a big bullet that we haven't really figured out how to manage real well, but we're hoping that the data will prove itself out and people will just speak to the data. But, for example, I think the press, put your fingers in your ears, Greg, the press doesn't help us necessarily all the time. Our local press does. Sometimes the outside press doesn't, because they're perceiving what might be going on isn't really going on. And it's our job, I think, to communicate progressively, positively to the outside world. For example, 7 Days from Burlington, we're working really hard on an article that they want to put out about the retail issue in Manchester, and we say there is no issue. Here's what we've done to move on from retail vacancies. And we have proof. There aren't as many vacancies. There's new boutique stores. There's 4 new restaurants. I mean, we can go down the list. And we have to, I think 5 of us have each spent an hour with the reporter at 7 Days who's from Burlington that wants to say Burlington's the best. Come to Burlington. So we're dealing with a lot of that for our community. I don't know if anybody else has had that exposure, but that last bullet is very important. So, the truth. Yeah. So, option tax is our biggest measure of success because we get to tax pretty much everything, 1% that comes through Manchester. Sales, use, rooms, meals, alcohol, lodging, rooms, lodging, yeah. So, including internet sales. 2016 versus 2017, we were up 5.39%, which on our option tax revenue over there is $63,000 to the town. Unfortunately, our state takes 33% of that for an administrative fee, and we get to keep $40,000. This is impressive. More recently, first quarter 18 over first quarter 17, we're showing the same exact trend, 5.5%. And we know inflation is like 1.5%, so we're ahead of inflation. You may not feel business is up, but it is. We may have businesses that have gone out of business. We've had businesses come in. There's a metric that's very interesting that we've had a decrease in retail retail operators filing with the state in Manchester, but the total retail sales, bricks and mortar, is up. Less retailers, higher revenue. Pretty remarkable, right? That's a data point that we can't argue.
What is actually done with the 67%?
67% comes to the town of Manchester.
And where?
Yes, great question. So it goes into a reserve fund that the town select board has chosen to reserve. And let me rephrase that. All of it goes in for what has been budgeted for the year that the select board believes is going to be received from the option tax. So let's use a simple number, $1 million. Select board says, we believe $1 million is going to come in from the option tax revenue to the town. So basically, there's going to be $1.5 million generated. The state keeps $500K. The town gets $1 million. That $1 million goes right into the general fund for the municipal budget. If there's $1.1 million received by the town, $100K gets peeled off and put into a reserve account and invested in stocks and bonds. Andy might be able to speak to that. I don't know exactly what it's invested in. If it's only $900,000, the town grabs $100K out of the reserve fund to continue as if it was $1 million. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. We subsidize our municipal budget with the option tax to keep one of the lowest tax rates, municipal tax rates in the state. Very low. Actually, might be one of the 3 lowest or something. That's the answer. One of our concerns has been, for the past 10 years, the town has dipped into that reserve fund to continue to subsidize as if the budget was continuing to be met. And we've said, how about we take some of that reserve fund and invest it in marketing the town so that the actual number could grow if the trend continued to go down. Fortunately, it is growing now. So, same data from the other screen, but this is more into the details of these numbers. Left side is 2017 versus 2016, the whole year. Rooms were up 10%. So what we're trying to report to you is we started in the fall of 16. We went all the way through 17 as an organization. We don't want to take full credit for all of this growth, but we think we can take some credit. We can also give credit to some new hotels. A lot of the existing hotels improved their revenues and occupancies. Meals were up, alcohol was up, retail wasn't up much. Over there is the first quarter of this year reported versus the first quarter of last year. Kind of give an apples to apples because quarters vary from each other through the year based on seasons. This is really the only way to compare. So rooms were down in the first quarter of this year. Meals were up. Alcohol was slightly up, but look at this. Retail sales bricks and mortar, we're up 6% as a town. And I want to say bricks and mortar. We've excluded the internet sales from this data. We know what those numbers are. And they're contributing a significant portion of our option tax. In fact, last year, internet sales contributed $112,000 of option tax to our town. So, big number. It's about, well, we haven't figured out exactly what it is because there are a lot of retail sales that do not have tax on them, and we hadn't yet gotten the total number for the town. So we're not going to guess how much the internet sales are versus all retail, but we will report that next time we see you. Any questions on this?
So you're counting internet sales as a retailer who, or a person who is selling a product online who is a local seller?
Yeah, that's also
Or
included, but
is
no,
it
it's
like the
Amazon. It's
Amazon?
Amazon
Okay.
sending something to a 05255
Okay.
zip or 05254.
So that skews a lot.
Doesn't skew this. These are excluding that.
That's your.
But we wanted to make mention that we know last year, 2017, $112,000 of the 1.22 million in option tax revenue was internet sales option tax. So $12.2 million in internet sales occurred. Is it 12.2? I don't want to get my math wrong, but $112,000 of option tax. So it's a significant portion of us benefiting, as long as we're okay with it, I guess, not being things competing with us, right? So we just have to, that may be a whole nother discussion of a public forum to talk about that. So, any other questions? This is all readily available deep inside the state's Department of Tax's website, and it takes you about 4 days to find that page. Pauline knows exactly where it is now. And we actually got to be on a conference call with a representative of their office last week, which was fun. So this is actually not easy information to drum up, is what I'm trying to say. So Visitor Center is in existence. It will continue to be open, and we continue to have a great amount of visitors coming through. A lot of questions of what to do, where to eat, where's the bathroom. It's important that all of you as businesses have your information in that center at the corner of Depot and Main Street. We try to get volunteers to help us staff that. It was very difficult. Everybody had their businesses to run themselves. So this idea with the chamber is to staff it, actually with someone qualified who is paid, and we're going to work to staff it for sure Friday, Saturday, and Sundays and holiday weeks. That's the start. And as soon as we can get this worked out and get memberships from all of you paying, we can staff that site. So that's our plan. So as soon as you're signed up members, the sooner we can staff that with a full-time person, the sooner you get the benefit of it. So, any questions about the visitor center? Do you think the location's okay? Anybody else? Those are board members chuckling. Okay. And I should mention Lana, who's not here, Lana Halvin, has offered that space for free for the last 18 months. We're going to start paying a little bit of rent, but way below market rate, and just basically to help recover the property taxes. So retail, wanted to hit on this. I know a lot of questions come about it, so Pauline did a lot of great research. I added some numbers in, and our board has talked about it a lot. We have an 88% occupancy rate, we believe, in our town. That's a great rate. That's a healthy, it's not sick, it's not full. We have 10 spaces that are in transition. A lot of the Price Chopper shopping center is not leasing because they're planning to tear it down. There are spaces that are being renovated into housing units. Lana Houghton's portfolio, she has permits in for some housing on top of her retail stores. We have housing in the Lenza properties on Main Street, where Mother Myrick used to be 25 years ago.
So is
Yes.
that 17 plus 10?
That's right.
spaces?
That's right. Yep. We can't, this is the problem. People see 27 and they say, oh, we have this vacancy, but we don't believe you can count the transitioning spaces because they actually have, they're spoken for. And they're just not yet in full use. Isn't it going to be great when the Price Chopper shopping center is torn down and there's a new Hannaford or Price Chopper or whatever it is? Is that true? So why should we count those 4 spaces to the left as vacant? Same thing with the the bird, I call it the birdhouse place on Center Hill, is that right? I believe that upstairs, or maybe the whole building, is being converted to residential. The High Ridge Plaza properties where Jockey used to be and Mattress Firm, the upstairs is being converted to office spaces or possibly residential. So those are another 4 or 5 spaces. So the 10 spaces is probably conservative of the 27, but, and that changes daily. So this is as of, Pauline walked the depot and Main Street this morning. We were counting. 4 new restaurants that kind of fall in retail in 12 months. And we've definitely seen a trend towards more boutique owner-operator retail operations, which, a subjective comment if I may, I think those people have a more vested interest in their success of their business and the ability to withstand economic changes over time than a franchise operator that's renting a space in town from a landlord. Just my opinion, but I think some of you in this room are some of those operators, and you've been here for a long, long time, and you're still here. So some of that proof's there. And again, if you're the owner, who do you report to? Yourself. So, any questions on that slide? It's the most debated topic in town. No. Oh, and by the way, we think there's about 230 registered businesses in town. So 142 we think are retailers. So are we a retail town? Yep. And a lot of those 230 are LLCs with a mailbox, PO box, that they may not be actually a bricks and mortar business. Real estate, my sweet spot, and Andy if he were here, but he's not. Interestingly, this is residential strictly in Manchester, not Dorset, not Sunderland, not Winhall. This is just Manchester. We haven't changed how many homes are on the market as of 8/1, and we haven't had any change in total number of residential sales, except they're moving faster. And I actually think that data set, that 90 versus 90 is wrong. I want to check on that, because that wouldn't make this work. Average days in the markets, things are selling faster. 202 versus 281. And then this is really encouraging. Average list price is up 5%. Average sale price is up 6%. So what's happening is we're squeezing the list price to what the sale price is, slowly but surely. And we're also increasing average prices. These are great numbers. My business operates over in Okemo as well, and they're 2/3 of these numbers in Ludlow, as an example of another very busy real estate market. This would be considered a busy real estate market. And I can comment, again, because I'm in this business, we're doing better than the ski mountains, a lot better actually. To have prices increase alone is great. To actually have transactions is great. So people want to be here. There's a healthy transition and transactional record here. I think if we included Dorset into this stat, you'd see it even better. In fact, I know that for sure. So the combination of Dorset and Manchester as a community in the real estate market is a really good market. And we're seeing trends up. It hasn't been that way for the last 10 years. So we're really starting to see a trend up. Go ahead.
Your second bullet point, is that annualized, or that's 90 in 7 months versus 90 in 12 months?
Yeah, it's 90 sales, and I want to actually confirm that 90 versus 90. I think it's more because I actually think the number's 140, believe it or not. And the only reason I say that is because I saw 140 when I pulled the report, and I think I forgot to put it into the slide. And you wouldn't have such a dramatic days on market of the same inventory unless you had more purchases sold. So I think I'm almost pretty sure that the residential sales year over year was more this year versus the previous year. So, and we're looking at a 12-month window. So 8/1 back 12 months versus the previous 12 months. That's the look back. Something else I wanted. Anybody have any questions on the real estate market? We've heard a lot of national news that maybe it's cooling off. We feel like it's heating up here. I don't know, Robin, you're in the business.
Also, I think I sense that land sales have also increased.
In like the last 20
Yes.
days.
Just in general,
Yeah.
people were not touching land at all, and now there's just a lot of interest in land, and people who are coming in are interested in land and building.
Yeah,
The building trade might actually start getting a pop.
and that's a great point. I met with Mark Spino today, the CFO of Archie Miles, and he and I had the same conversation. He uses us as a metric to figure out what's going on with their business. And land sales, dead for 10 years. And in the last 30 days, our office, the phones are ringing off the hook. You're saying that. It's pretty amazing. So what a subjective comment maybe is that our inventory has reached a point where people don't really want to buy the houses we have. And so now they're shifting over, I still want to live in Manchester or Dorset, so I'm going to buy the land and pay the 20 or 30% premium that it is to build instead of buy. Because it's a big premium right now to build. In fact, on the Connecticut River right now, they call it the 300 to 100 ratio. You can build for 300 and it'll get appraised at 100 per square foot. That's not good. Our market's a lot better, but it's still, we hear, you can buy it, I think the average sale price is 150 or 167 square foot, and build price is still 225, 250. But it's amazing people are looking for land.
And the tariff is really beating people up right now.
On materials.
The trades, like the wood and everything, but they're still interested.
Yeah, and that's a testament to our community. Why do people want to live here? Especially if they want to pay a 30% premium to build a house. There's something else here other than just a house. They want to live here. Is it the education we have? Is it our business community? Is it what is it? But they want to be here. So good, thanks for bringing that up, Robin. We should add that to our stats, land sales. Yeah, that's a good one. So business sentiment, I talked about it before, the blank slide. But this is where I think it'd be good for us to have comments. Do we have any sentiment that's otherwise? Is there something trending you feel that maybe isn't being spoken about, good or bad? The lodging sector, the retail sector, the restaurant, the hospitality. Any comments?
Well, another thing that you didn't mention was Airbnb. It's had a major impact.
Yeah.
So, it has affected lodging, but it's given an alternative to people. And I think it's also driven some of the real estate sales because people who don't want to carry a house for 6 months empty have an option to have a place here. And it kind of drives the economy a little bit more. I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a good point. And we've asked for that stat to break down in hospitality before in the option tax, because Airbnb, HomeAway, they all have to report and rooms and meals tax. I think they're all volunteering to do it on behalf of the homeowners and report it to the state. So I think we've asked, Pauline, have we asked the breakout between hotels and vacation rental properties, and that's not public information
There's a new law
yet.
that says people have to register now, so that's gonna come in 20.
We should see it, yeah. So that's a great data set to report. And it's hard to report when rooms are up 10%. Is it everybody's rooms? No. If we're adding, John and I have had this discussion because he manages this hotel. If you add 80 rooms to 800 rooms, you've added 9% total, 10% really. And if the market's up 10%, well, on a per room basis, we haven't grown. We've just added more rooms. But when it was up 14% 2 years ago, we said, oh, actually we have grown because we've grown in more tax revenue than we did in rooms. But I remember the audience, a few lodging operators said, no, that's not true because some people were down. So we haven't been able to dig into the weeds to say, this is hotel revenue, this is how many rooms we've added to the market, and this is what's Airbnb HomeAway, but we want to get there because it's an important metric for all of us to understand. So 6:48, wow. So the big meat of today, and the other slides we'll continue to refine, but we want everybody that wants to get involved, and not just volunteer your time and your effort and your ideas, but also help us financially. When I say 100% of all the funds go to marketing in town, we mean it. The only thing we pay extra for is tax returns and insurance to protect ourselves and be compliance with the law. Every other dollar goes to marketing, Manchester, whether it's the visitor center, the website, print, go down the list. So we need the support. We have $50K from the town. We have to match that. Inside that $50K, we've pledged that, and so has the ITV Fest, they've raised $20K of it, of the 50 match, and they're going to get the $20K back. So for ourselves, we've really raised $30K. And we think our organization can run kind of healthy at about $200,000 to $250,000. So we want to raise about $200K through memberships and donations from all of our businesses. So we've come up with an elaborate membership program. Let's see if I can find this thing. Why don't we go pass it around now? Yeah, so we have pens. This is the politics right here. We've locked all the doors. And we know how much money you have in your pockets. Yeah. And it's the MBA church. Pass those around, please. So
share, please.
All right, I've already paid.
Wow, this is fine print. I don't know if I can read this. Can you pass those around, please? The idea here is,
You've seen it already.
so John is passing around sheets that include this very complex but beneficial membership grid. Sorry that we have color coded. We probably should have made colors out of this. We have a bronze level, a silver level, and a gold level. And it's called the dual membership with the MBA plus the Bennington Chamber, or just also if you're a non-Manchester business, we've now stepped into the zone of we're okay with people that have businesses outside of Manchester being members to benefit from the Manchester brand. Big announcement.
Paul, to clarify, does that include the village?
Yes, the village. Of course the village. It's a good point. So the village, I don't know why they.
No, the village is up
It's on the, there.
Village is, yeah. Are you asking if the village is down here? No, the village is here.
I was hoping if Greg is still here,
Greg S.
in said article, maybe there was
Yeah.
clarifications needed
Yeah.
to the community that the
Greg.
village is included.
Greg, Manchester is Manchester, 05255 and 05254, right?
Yes.
The people at the post office might think differently. But, and you can't get mail from one place to the other, even if your name's on it, and it says Manchester, Vermont, or
Only
whatever.
if it starts at 5.
Yeah, Manchester's Manchester, Brian. That's up here. And the reason this is less is because we've gotten town money to subsidize our costs. We also think that Manchester businesses is our focus. If there's an outside Manchester business that feels they could benefit from being a member and all of these great benefits, then they can choose these 3 levels. And so this is the 80-20 rule. We think we're about 80% there, but we spent about 1,000 hours trying to figure it out. But we decided to put it out as test because we couldn't think anymore. We're sure there's more to add and more tweaking here. And for today, we'd love to hear your comments, but this is what we got. And we want to run with it and raise some money here for the next year. We'll come back next year, and if there's some tweaks and some things that need to change, like the values, maybe there's we had a 4th level, the platinum level, that was like, you can use the visitor center for, well, we did that in this one. We had something else.
No,
But
the platinum level has a visitor center like for 3 times in the year. And
Yeah.
some other stuff.
There was another level that was like,
Sponsoring local events, that sort of stuff, and part of that, just overcomplicated it.
we took it out, yeah. But this is what we've got. And from top to bottom, simply, your business is listed on the website, and then the member, with a member certification, you have exposure, you have the right to have exposure in the visitor center with printed material. Your membership in this level includes the Bennington Regional Chamber, which is a huge list of things. This is just what we thought were the top items. Listing on the chamber, utilization of the chamber's bulk email. I'm a member of the chamber. What comes from the chamber is wonderful. There are these coffee chats about with different sectors. There are mixers. There's legislative support. It's not just marketing the region of the Bennington County region. It has a lot of different things. And Matt Harrington actually had something written he wanted us to do. Could you read that for Matt Harrington, John? You can't see it?
So anyway, Matt and Matt, who is the executive director of the Regional Bennington Chamber, and Jonas Vyers, who were a big part of this with the Shires and working with us together, just couldn't be here tonight, but really wanted to be. So Matt wrote something to all of you saying, on behalf of the Chamber Board of Directors, staff, and our members, the Chamber is excited about this new partnership with the Manchester Business Association. The spirit of this partnership is in the understanding that we are stronger together. We believe that this agreement will help Manchester foster strong, resilient businesses for decades to come. It is through working together that we can solve some of the challenges that are unique to Southern Vermont. We do this work not because it's easy, but because it's hard and worthwhile, knowing it will bear economic and community gains. We appreciate that we have a new friend and partner in the MBA to help with these challenges. Respectfully, Matt Harrington.
So that's a big success for both groups, combined efforts. And I believe it's a recognition of the Bennington Chamber that Manchester is one of the stronger assets in the county, and that with our health and our efforts, everybody's going to have a better result. And for the last year, it was, what are you doing? What are we doing? What are you doing? Who are we asking for money? So now we've sorted that all out, and we can focus on our micro focus of Manchester while they can focus on the greater region, which is really what we've been trying to get to for now 24 months. So we're there, and we're hoping this will be a great relationship. So anyway, the list is on there, and it's on the sheets, the same exact thing. We encourage you to sign up today with the column that you choose, and then it's an honor system. You hand it back to us. We'll hand it to Meredith, who's in the corner back here with Mountain Media. Actually, you can hand it right to Meredith. Can you raise your hand? Yeah, thanks. And we will bill you.
I'll give you guys just the specific language for the understanding we have with the Chamber. All current all current Manchester members who are currently members of the Bennington Chamber will have the ability to become combo members of both organizations starting in July of 2018. Dues will be required, and those membership dues will pay for a full year of MBA membership, July to June of next year, and a year and a half of chamber dues, July to December of next year. So as a current member, you're kind of looking now at a huge bonus. That full year and a half, just because we're trying to align the two organizations together.
So thanks, Brian, for grabbing that. $450 at the bronze level gets you all of these things, which includes a $900 value at the chamber. If you are not in Manchester and you're outside Manchester, that value of what Brian just said is $900. So, just saying. And then over here, $13.50, you add these wonderful things. You can use the visitor space for an event for your business once per year. Inclusion in our, it's about weekly, maybe bi-weekly email blasts. We'll put your business on one of those annually, and then also a blog feature. So that's a nice perk. I know those things, with any other organization, are several $100s just to be included in an email blast. For example, Vermont Business Magazine, it's like $300 to be on one of their email blasts, just in our own little state. So, so that's it. What does everyone think about the membership idea?
Has there been any discussion about sliding scale as to size of business?
We talked about that for several months, yes, and we decided not to do it. Primarily because we don't have the resources in our own world to manage that variation. We think we could maybe get there, but we were basically saying, wow, we just need to be basic to start. The other thing is, I think the website listing previously on the website was $375. Does that sound right? So we're adding all these things plus the chamber membership for those that have participated the last 3 years at $375. Those are another $75 just.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, right, sorry.
At $450, it's $75 for these other items. Pretty awesome. You know, if you've been paying the $375 the last few years and you think that you've gotten a benefit. I know John has been able to report conversion from that into tens of thousands of dollars of rooms here. So, Ms. Casablanca.
That's a new one.
I love it.
Been called a lot of things, Paul, that's not been one of them. I was curious.
It's a compliment,
about
right?
membership. We, the Casablanca, are on the MBA, or the ManchesterVermont.com already. We've been paying the $375. And I don't know, is that coming up and it's time to renew?
Mhm.
Yes.
That's exactly
And
it, yes.
Is it July, this month?
It was actually March.
It was
Oh.
actually last March.
Yeah, it was March. So everybody that's been on has stayed on, and we're just now we're just going to start it here again, going forward for a year. So you got your, say, 6 months, whatever it is.
And it'll be July through.
Yeah,
I think
Probably
it's actually probably going to be
September.
Oh,
through
you're gonna have
next
it full.
August.
Yeah.
Yes.
September 1st through
Yeah,
August 3rd.
because we're looking to try to have everyone signed up that would love to have their enhanced listings and so
That's
forth,
right.
and all the different benefits at different levels, by no later than September 15th. I know it's a month to think about it, but,
Right.
you know, and again, as Paul said, you know, the billing part, we'll bill you for it. We're not.
Do you know how
Sure.
that coincides with the chamber?
The chambers, it
It's
sounds like
calendar year.
January through December for the chamber. So you'll be good all the way with the chamber and the MBA all the way, if you're a current member and you enroll, it'll take you all the way to December of next year.
And if you enroll today,
Right.
it'll go through December
Well,
on the chamber.
you enrolled today. you never went. Yes.
Disappeared.
Right, yeah, so we don't have specific language about a new member joining the MBA with the joint membership,
Yeah.
how the billing cycle would work. for those two.
Yeah, it should go, it would go with the change, I assume that we just keep the same thing going every year, September to July, but we'll get back to you on that.
Well, that's why I was wondering how they might coordinate.
Yeah.
Because it's sounds like a wonderful partnership, and it would be certainly simplify things instead of getting.
Yeah, and I think the
twice.
goal would be to get it to be aligned,
Right.
date-wise.
You won't, once you're in both, this dual membership, you won't ever get anything from the chamber saying you need to renew from them. It'll all be coming from us.
Okay,
You know,
and that would be September 1st through August.
Most likely, yes.
That's specific to
Just
Manchester
to Manchester.
organizations.
Yeah.
Anything outside, which does not include the chamber membership, will still be two separate entities
Right,
working with
right.
you on a
And to be clear, that does include.
Includes the village.
Good, thank you.
Did that come up at the chamber?
No, I started getting people asking questions.
Oh, yeah.
Greg was 100% correct in the article. People were mistaken.
Good, okay. General people, okay.
So had you sent out bills to current members as being a new business owner?
No, we haven't sent any bills out.
So we wouldn't have already paid
Nope.
that?
No.
And we have, the only thing, we're now going to follow up and email out this membership because there are 230 or so businesses and there's 60 of us here or so. So we need to send that out, follow-up communication from tonight with probably the presentation and the cover letter, asking everyone to, if you're going to participate, get everything back to us by September 15th. That's going to be our deadline. Once we have all that information on the 15th, we'll call another public, we'll call a membership meeting. And we hope at that meeting to nominate and vote for board members for the next annual cycle and vote on our bylaws, which will be in draft and circulated. So we're going to run this open, transparent, everything's on the table, everyone has a chance to be a board member, everyone has a chance to participate, and full disclosure as much as we can. It's just, frankly, it's easier. I mean, we're not that big of a group. So, and my hope, I mean, I've been on this board for now almost 24 months. It'd be nice to pass that on to someone else to be participating. Happy to stay participating, but I think somebody else should take that torch and run with it. And I'm sure there's others on our group that would that feel the same. So that's what I encourage. That's our pitch tonight. September 15th is our deadline. It's probably not set in stone. Yes, in the back.
My name is Tim Counts. I'm the pastor at Northshire Baptist Church. And I'm not sure if there's any nonprofits here other than our church tonight, but I was just wondering if there's a nonprofit rate. You know, it seems like the bronze level is something that we would be interested in, but we can't afford that, the amount that a business could as a nonprofit.
Sure. So we discussed the nonprofit, and we focused on primarily really listing the arts organizations, and then we said we should probably have just everybody treated the same. So we've excluded nonprofits, and there should be participating members at this point. It was a big discussion at our board meeting. We said, let's just get a membership out there, because let me give you an example. I'm the treasurer on the Dorset Theater Festival board, and we would fall under that out-of-town group. And last year, or the last 3 years, people have argued that the theater should have free memberships. Well, we're also trying to raise money as an organization, and we're asking the same businesses and the same people for money. And I was the first person on our group to say, no, we should, as a theater festival, we should pay to be a member, even though we're a nonprofit. But then we shouldn't be treating each other differently. Religious organizations, art organizations, education. So we made the hard decision that Burr & Burton should pay to be a member of this group. That's our decision now. Maybe that'll change. It could, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, these are the debates. So yeah, I mean, if you could sit around the table and we're all running our businesses and we're very busy trying to just keep ahead, these are the things that we just do our best to make a decision on. Maybe it's the wrong decision in certain people's eyes, but that's the decision we made for now. But you have a chance as a member or part of the public. We're obligated to have public forums because of the town funding to show up and express any difference. And maybe that encourages the group as a membership group to change. So we have bylaws that we hope will be in place to change those things.
I mean, between now and September, I do urge everybody to take a look at the chamber website as well. I mean, to really understand the value of what you're getting, look at manchestervermont.com, look at the chamber website. I mean, as an engine to your business, this is a huge opportunity for everybody and for just our community as a whole. And looking at Bennington County as a true destination for the experiences, the shopping, the lodging, all in, and ultimately converting people to buy, stay, live, and contribute in the future. So take all the time.
Thanks,
to
Brian.
I have a question. By being a part of the Bennington Chamber, does that mean we can put literature, for instance, at the Bennington Visitor Center?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because, like, currently, you have to pay
Yeah.
a brochure service to do
Right,
that.
so as a member of the chamber, and we operate the Bennington Visitor Center, right off 279 and 7. So we have specific racks available just for chamber members. There are other ones that are operated by the state as well. So you've got, I mean, a full Vermont experience right there at your disposal. We also have some display cases that are available for chamber members as well. If you're showing the arts, skiing history, I mean, anything under the sun, we cycle those out monthly.
That's a great question, because there are other nodes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's at least two or three.
So we've got our office in
Yeah.
downtown Bennington, we've got the visitor center, you know, this would be an extension,
Right.
once again, the experience, but with a Manchester focus and a Manchester
Yeah.
expert, you know, behind the desk and Manchester smile.
And as Brian said, it's really important that you do go to the Bennington Chamber website, because you can click on as member, you can see what are the benefits of being a member, which, like, we couldn't put it on that sheet. I mean, it was a laundry
big, yeah.
list of things that are appealing. Our focus was, how does it increase exposure to Manchester businesses? Because the chamber itself has a huge reach, just like we do, but every chance you can have your business being seen in visitor centers and printed materials and not have to pay additional, and just one price fits all for us up here. And we're really lucky that they actually came and said, we'll do this for this $150 price. And at the same time, take that whole $150 and give it back to us, in essence, to put into our visitor center here in town. That's a really incredible gesture, actually.
It's like a AAA benefit. I mean, the tow truck, right?
Right.
What is it, $100 a year, and you get your car towed anywhere you want? I mean, it's that good. So, I just want to make a real quick comment, that I'll get to you, but I'm watching Chris eat the popcorn in the back, and it reminds me that we need to thank John for his hospitality here. Thank you, John. And I hear it's pretty good popcorn. Chris? Excellent, okay. Mrs. Berner, yeah?
I have a question. Our group is FightManchesterVermont.com, which is one of the task force of the town.
Yes.
We do not raise any money. We have no money. What do? We want to put our biking maps in your visitor center.
Oh, that reminds me. Thank you for bringing this up. This evolved, and I want to come back to your question. We did actually talk about it in a meeting, that we would take applications from nonprofits, and we would consider them at our board meetings and vote on those. This came up at another board, because it came back. It just kept regurgitating. Do we feel good about this? No. Do we feel good about this? Yes. And so it was 2 months ago. Now, thank you for saying that. What do we do? It didn't prompt me earlier. We decided we would vote as a board, and that was the solution. So if we thought the organization fit what we're doing and it benefits everybody, then we would consider. The only thing we have to be very careful about as a board is our main goal in the membership drive is to support our economic needs. So we have to focus on that, and we can't have everybody just saying, oh, we think we should be a free, a no-charge member. So, John.
Can I update that? And I'm not sure how this fits in, but the other thing that we talked about was that any town events, not that Manchester is putting on itself, are absolutely do not have to be a member, because the town is giving us $30,000 to make this happen. So this, like Manchester, if it's a town initiative,
Yes.
might actually just.
Street Fest.
Yeah, Street Fest, the concerts on the green, stuff that's the park and rec. We have an obligation, which kind of makes sense anyway,
Yeah.
to promote those things. Because the town is paying for contributing to us, like John said, and it's the town.
Right.
The town does send out emails every week with what's going on at the rec, the soccer tournaments, the lacrosse tournaments, the concerts. So yeah, this, keep in mind, this is a young organization, and we're trying to do all of our best. So all of your input, we're like sponges, and we're all volunteers too. So
how do we apply?
how do you apply? Fill out the form. Yep.
But it's all,
and just asterisks.
Check the box that says, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
I need more information, I'm with a non-for-profit.
It's going to go to the processing center.
Well, one point, Paul, as a retired member of the Manchester Business Association, is we are all, have to be, gold members,
The boards.
the board.
The board members, yeah,
Board
yeah,
members
yes.
are all gold members, right?
That's a good point. All board members have signed up for the gold.
Correct.
But you also bring up another good point. I don't know that we put on there a membership, well, you could be a membership as a private, non-business owner retiree, but we should also probably put a box of donations.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten, literally, in the last 18 months, probably $80,000 to $90,000 in just donations from concerned citizens. Pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, and business owners, but yeah, a big chunk, $20,000 is coming from people that are not business owners. Yeah, in the back.
Paul, how much traffic does ManchesterVermont.com get?
So I'm going to actually defer that to John because I know what it was. I know what it was.
I'm going to defer that to Meredith in the back corner. We have, what, about 3,900 subscribers right now at ManchesterVermont.com. You just recently sent me one. I can't tell you off the top of my head, you know, what kind of
It's
traffic.
around
we're getting.
15,000 a month.
And how about for Bennington?
Ooh, I wouldn't know there.
Brian would.
A lot, but no, I wouldn't know.
What's different, I mean, the way that we use our website is definitely as an engine for information, similar to ManchesterVermont.com. But as we do help promote and coordinate our own events, we have a vast email list at our disposal, which is still something that's being built up by ManchesterVermont.com. The drivers that come back from those emails definitely skyrocket those numbers astronomically.
Robin?
I kind of understood an underlying question from the bike folks was being able to put information in the visitor center.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are not a member at any level, does that mean no one can put information in?
That's correct.
Okay, or is there a fee that you are possibly going to levy in the future? or it's just
$475. Yeah, I mean, I'm not bashful. We need the money. If you want to keep us doing what we're doing, none of us are paid for what we're doing.
Visitor center to exist, we
No, I.
need people.
Yeah. No,
It's just that
we-
that seemed to be an.
That list up there, I think it had 10 columns to start, and we had the $80 option of, you know, what does this get you? But then we were all like, no, let's just, and let's 3 options, you know? And that's where we're at.
No,
But
I love that, because it
Yeah.
really makes it a driver to
But this group could say, hey, we need something that's maybe a little something different, or we want more. And so we're just winging it to some degree. Plus, as we change out board members, people come on with different and better ideas, and, you know, for sure. And,
that would be my biggest recommendation as a pastor, as a leader of a nonprofit in the community. I think if there was like a $200 option, that's something that we could
Mhm.
support because we have a small advertising budget
Right.
as a nonprofit. And instead of doing an event ad in the paper, we could have a $200 nonprofit
Yeah.
membership. But I'm just thinking about the potential with theaters, the library, which is huge here, BBA, churches and synagogues, hiking, Merck Forest. I just think there's so many resources that we have as a community that we're kind of cutting out of the spectrum if we don't consider including that.
yeah,
We wanna support what you're
you're
doing.
you're absolutely correct, but there are a lot of nonprofits. You're excluding all the other ones that we're not, you know, may not be interwoven into the community like your organization is. I don't want to venture to guess what the name of some of the, Hilding. Hilding, good example. Is that, you know, we've brought these things up. We're there with you, because if you look at the website, it's got all the education, all. So, yeah, it's probably one of the most debated topics, and I'm with you. I think we need to talk about it more as the board. So
Please
we're
check the boxes if
No
I'm
tape.
not sure, I need more information.
Notes.
Please
I
submit
guess,
it.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, as a small church, we don't have as many resources as Hilden has.
Certainly.
So somebody like Hilden, I don't know if they have a member here today, they could probably afford a gold membership. We could afford a nonprofit membership.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that out there.
You're right, and for a burden. There are 10 private schools in the area, right? So,
That's what I mean, they
It was
they
free,
could have
yeah.
a gold membership
Yeah.
if they wanted more benefits.
I'll fight for the church.
We could just
I'll
have
fight for the church.
any other questions, comments? It's 7:17, and I promised to wrap this up by 7:15.
No, no, no.